So hello and welcome along to the Champ.ie podcast as we look ahead to Irish Oaks weekend. We've a vintage podcast this afternoon. We've all the big lads back. Ronan Groome from the Irish Field and of course the return of trainer Thomas Coyle. Curragh, Thomas, of course, we're previewing the Curragh centre stage this weekend. No pressure now on you. There's plenty of winners on the podcast since the last time you were on.
Was there? Yeah, thanks, lad. Because I'd say if I was backing lately, there wouldn't be any winners picked for me, so I wouldn't think.
How's life been anyway? 2 runners in Kilbeggan tomorrow?
Yeah, good. Yeah, busy. It's grand. Yeah, all the winter horses are back in, so it's it's fairly busy, and could do with the weather picking up a bit. We've been not blessed with the best of it, so hopefully the weather will pick up and we can get horses back out. And look, 2 runners tomorrow. They haven't run for a while. They'll come on, but they should run well. And then one on Sunday as well down in Tipperary. He'd have a small chance. He's probably the pick of the 3 for the weekend. So yes.
Pretty much. We might talk about 1 or 2 runners later on in the podcast. First things first, lads. The Irish Oaks, of course, the 7:15 at the Curragh. There's 8 runners left in. Ronan, I'll come to you on this one. It looks between the first 2 in the market. I know you were a big fan of Ennistymon heading to Epsom. She backs up here 14 days. I thought she should be favoured. Would you agree?
I don't know now, Barry, to be honest. I think it's fairly tight between the 2 of them, but if I had to pick one between the 2 of them, I'd probably go with the Harrington filly, Cayenne Pepper. I get what you're saying with Ennistymon. She probably has she has more form in the book this year. She was second at Epsom. I really liked her run at Epsom. I thought she kind of made her ground very early there, and Jamie was kind of rushing her up to get the 2 pacemakers, and I think she did very well actually to hold on to second, having made that forward move quite early in the race to hold off Frankly Darling. So she actually finished second to that filly at Royal Ascot before that, so she's coming forward clearly. But there were 2 hard races, and I wonder, does Cayenne Pepper actually have the best form in this race with her second to Magical in the Pretty Polly? I thought that was a big run for her to hold off a filly like Fleeting and a mare like True Self in fourth. That was a good run, first time over a 3-year-old filly, having her first start and having to make her first start against older horses as well, like older mares at that. And I was speaking to Jessica Harrington directly after this filly won her maiden last year, and she was absolutely astounded she was able to win first time up. Not astounded, but she was genuinely surprised. She's an Australia filly, so I think they've always thought she'd be better this year. And I just think she's a huge improver for the step up and trip. She was a good filly last year. She won 3 races. She ran 4th in the Group 1, the Fillies Mile. And now this is her year where she goes. Shane Foley absolutely loves her. Thinks it's the best filly there, and that says a lot when you think you have Alpine Star, he has Albina, and he absolutely loves this Cayenne Pepper. So I thought she should be just about favourite. And out of the top 2 in the market, that's the one I'd side with, yeah.
Yeah, 2 very smart fillies at the top of the market. Obviously, you said Cayenne Pepper as well. Huge run first time up. I know she was giving away £12, I think, to Magical on the day. Ronan, the other one, or Thomas, the other interesting one in here was Snow, full sister to Kew Gardens. Seems like stamina is her forte. Is as well, plenty of experience, and she seems to be improving. I see a lot of money for her as well. 12s into 9-2. What was your thoughts on her?
Yeah, she won the Munster Oaks last week. She probably did. She beat a whole lot when you see the likes of Joseph had the horse that was second was 40 or 50 to 1. I quite fancied Ger Lyons' horse that day, but I don't know that it run Yaxani. I think it was fourth. Look, look, that was a Group 3 for me. I'd agree with Ronan. I think Cayenne Pepper, her first run, she's obviously going to improve. It was 1.25 miles. She ran all the way through the line. And just on that as well, like Ennistymon has had 3 quick enough runs. I think like it was only a week from when she won her maiden till she ran in Royal Ascot, and then maybe another 2 weeks to go to Epsom. So like she had 3 runs in the space of 4 weeks basically. So maybe Cayenne Pepper is a bit fresher, not having to be. Now, I know Aidan brings him over and back. It doesn't take as much travelling and that. But look, fresher horse, only down the road for her again. I gonna find it hard to see past Cayenne Pepper. Although, like, it should be a good race because Ennistymon definitely stayed in Epsom. So, but if I had to nail my colours to the mast, I'd be with Jessie's filly.
2 against 1 here, lads. Let's stick to me guns. Think she ran to an exceptional filly, as I said, in this time, and she might set the standard here. A repeat of her Epsom performance might see her difficult to beat. Lads, next month, Saturday, 6:15. It's the Premier Handicap over 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and plus. The favourite in here is Laugh a Minute at 3-1 for Aidan McGuinness. There's been plenty of support for this one, and of course he landed the Lincoln handicap at the Curragh earlier in the season with Bowerman, so he's able to get them ready. Aidan McGuinness, that's for sure. Anything sticking out, Thomas?
Yeah, look, Ado is exceptional in these Premier Handicaps. He's gone to England and bought these horses for this kind of niche market, and to be fair to him, with I think it's Shamrock Bloodstock, they've been very, very good. Look, he's a worthy favourite. He won well the last day. Did he beat a whole lot? I don't know. They mightn't have backed up the runs. One for me at a price is the Natalie Lupini, I think. Blair Main. He is, I think, is a Curragh specialist. He's won and he's run close to horses like Make a Challenge and that in good handicaps up the Curragh. He's 8 stone 6. Killian Leonard rides. He rode a good winner for Joseph Murphy last night. The name just not coming to me, but I think lightweight, and he's running all them good handicaps, and he's there and thereabouts. I remember one time he was actually drawn the wrong side, and he won his group, but wasn't the far side. I think buffer zone and horses like that. So when he's got a good gauge with horses like Make a Challenge, buffer zone like that, lightweight in his back. I don't think we'll know the draw till tomorrow. But I think at 16 or 20-1. He'll run his race, so he'll be thereabouts.
Ronan, anything juicy in here for you?
Yeah, I do like one here. I respect Laugh a Minute. Obviously, he does look another nice one for Ado McGuinness, and Thomas was talking about Ado and his kind of exploiting this kind of horse in Ireland, and I think Stephen Thorne is a big part of that team up there, finding these horses, and they've obviously done really well with the likes of Salt and Stall and Current Option. And Laugh a Minute looks another one for you. I did think he's a bit short in the market, Barry. They have made the draw for this race, actually. And the one I like has got a nicer draw, I think, Tommy Taylor. He was drawn on the stand side the last day, and he flew home on the stand side, and he beat everything really well there, and all the action developed up the far side. This trained by Johnny Levins, the Tommy Taylor, and he's another kind of former British trained horse who's looks, that he could possibly be well treated now over in Ireland, considering his back form. He was rated 107 at one point for Kevin Ryan. Like that's a typical type of horse that wins these kind of sprint handicaps in Ireland. We're not really that strong, and that's why you see the likes of Ado doing well with horses that have been coming from Britain, and that's why you have the likes of Gulliver in here and Bungee Jumper, a couple of other British horses that have come over. Tommy Taylor, I just think, could possibly be well handicapped on that run. I know Don O'Connor is riding the stable's other horse, Nordic Passage, who won quite well on the course the last day, but it can't have been an easy decision. And Gary Carroll, obviously, an able replacement. So Tommy Taylor, for me, I think he's around 16-1. Here,
Ronan Groome. Had him picked out myself. 14-1 looked a bit big. He made a lot of his ground up late as well, didn't he, the last day? And I think prior to his run against Big Baby Bull at the Curragh, or the race that Big Baby Bull won, he was second at Gorn to progressive Bucky Larson. So as you said, he's only having his 6th start for Johnny Levins. So interesting, he's come down the weights. Gary Carroll, I see, booked as well. 6:45 lads at the Curragh over 6 furlongs, the Railway Stakes Group 2. Let's discuss this one here, lads. Competitive, even though there's only 7 runners in here. It's not priced up. Ronan, had you thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a hard one to gauge, Barry. Obviously, there's no prices at the moment. I would imagine the Artisan would be quite close to the top of the market just on what he's done so far. He was second down in Cork in a Group 3 the last day to Henry de Bromhead's Minuan. I'm a big fan of Paddy Coombe. and everything he does. I think he's kind of announcing himself this season and last season as well. He's just very much a quality over quantity type of trainer. He's actually just banged in the first winner at Leopardstown there about half an hour ago as well. Like, he wouldn't be running this horse here if he didn't think he had a very, very good chance of winning. And his chance makes a lot of sense. He's run twice, and even though he hasn't won, and the other horses he's taken on all have won, he has probably a stronger level of form. Look, the two Ballydoyle horses will probably be strong enough. Merchant's Key is a course and distance winner, and Forest of Dreams as well, another No Never colt. They're both by No Never. So and you have to respect the Lions horse down the bottom there by Tornado. Obviously, he won this last year with Siskin, and he won it two of the last 4 years. Lions has won this race. He won it with Medicine Jack as well. So it's probably significant that Two Glory is showing up here, and he was quite an impressive winner first time out as well. Yeah, it's not a race I'd be getting hugely involved in gambling wise, but the one that kind of jumps off the page to me at the moment is Arctician for Paddy Toomey and Billy Lee.
Yeah, interesting. You mentioned the two Never colts. One, of course, cost 300,000 as a yearling. The other 900,000 as a yearling. Merchant's Key, Thomas, is the choice of Wayne Lorden. As I suppose, obviously Shamey still serves his quarantine sentence. Is there anything of the 7 runners? Which one stuck out to you?
I liked Merchant's Key attitude in the Curragh when he won that day. Really professional for a second run. Ronan probably has it right. Paddy Toomey's horse probably has the better form, all right. From what we've seen, Billy Lee can't do anything wrong either. But I just liked Aidan's attitude, his horse's attitude. Gerline's horse, he won a median sires, so it's probably not the strongest form. One of them down in Limerick, where like the likes of Ger, kind of his better ones, he doesn't mind going to Fairyhouse Nav and kind of the bigger tracks, so it was a bit unusual. But yeah, look, for me it's a watch and brief. So if I was to pick one, I'd probably go with Merchant's Key.
I go with the other O'Brien horse. I think Michael Hussey rides. Wasn't without his support actually on debut Forest Dreams. One then on second start over 5.5 furlongs. That was on easier ground, and I think on good ground, 6 furlongs at the Curragh, I think that it might see this horse progress again, and I'd be interested in him. Obviously, it's not priced up, so we'll have to wait. And
it's just interesting as well. He actually has the highest Racing Post rating from his win, the Michael Hussey ridden one. So if some people go by form figures, so he might be alright.
It's the one track actually the algorithm.co.uk cannot look at is Navan for some strange reason. But anyway, Sapphire Stakes, lads, on Sunday, 3:45 over 5 furlongs. The English Challenger is in receipt, obviously, of the three-year-old allowance here. A.A. Ali. There's no one rolling jocked up as of yet. Frankie Dettori rode him last time out when he bet Liberty Beach, but I thought he's priced up at 11 to 10. I thought he would be difficult to beat here.
Yeah, he might be. I'd say there's a good chance. I think Buffer Zone is declared for Saturday, so he won't run. So there's a good chance Colin Keane might get the call up there. He usually gets the British Raiders, or they usually come calling to Colin Keane when they come over here. So he might be. Yeah, if Make a Challenge is declared, that'll be a tough test for Ali. Taking him on at the Curragh. I thought he was as good as ever the last day. And obviously a significant course and distance winner. He does most of his best performances have come at the Curragh, and any sort of rain would be a big help as well. Have they priced this race up, Barry?
Yeah.
What's our price Make a Challenge?
Give you a show now.
2 to 1. 2 to
1. Yeah, geez. Well, if he ran to his rating, Make a Challenge. I know he's given away £4 to the British horse. I would have thought that was
big worry though is I think we're going to have a good few days. He probably is a little bit better with some juice in the ground. Just to me, and just when you see the sun's out splitting the stones for once, and I think it's to be good again tomorrow. So
that's what I was thinking as well, Thomas. That he would be. I think Dennis said it as well after Naas.
Yeah.
That there was a bit of give in the ground that day at Naas when he bet Rapid Reaction 2.5 lengths. But the Phillies handicap, it's another Premier handicap, 2:45 over 7 furlongs. Thomas Coyle, your selection.
Well, we haven't got declarations for this yet, so it's a bit of a stab in the dark. But one that might be of interest, that might be getting ready for another tilt at the Galway Festival, is the John Murphy trained Galtee Mist. She'll have a lightweight as well. She's in at about 8-6 now at the minute, depending what's going to stay in. I'd imagine Killian Leonard is going to get the ride, seeing he rode the lightweight winner from the other night. Look, she won well in Galway last year, and she backed it up with a good second in Cork after. She's probably come down a few pound again from a few runs. She finished 6th on her run back this season, so look, it might leave her right. And we one of them maybe in mile handicaps, Colin Quinn or something in Galway in line if she could take this prize, I suppose.
Ronan Groome, we've no show of betting for this Phillies handicap, Premier Handicap on Sunday. Is there anything that caught your eye?
I'm going to steal the one you have, Barry. The old Limerick Cabin. Will she
run here though, Ronan?
Yeah, I thought she has a couple of engagements, so she's just interesting, on the run. On that run, as you said, we were talking off air before we came on. That run when she's finished 9th in the Group 3 at Cork there last week, like that's a big run off, and she'll stay on her mark of 84. I don't know. Actually, haven't seen the handicap ratings this week.
She's still rated 84, yeah.
But she is she still officially 84? She'll get a run off 84, whatever. Yeah.
Still officially.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I still thought that was a big run on just her 4th start, and coming back into a handicap company now, she has scope to progress further. She looked interesting. The other one I thought was interesting was music to my ears. I just think coming back to this sort of trip, if she was declared, might just be a bit sharp for her. But without prices, it's a bit of a guessing game. But that was the one that kind of jumped out at me when looking at entries here now.
Yeah, just interesting. I think it would probably suit Limerick Cabin as well. Obviously, she ran last week at Cork back to 7 furlongs. But as you said, if she was declared, I mean, she was actually quite unlucky. I'm not sure if you saw the 3-year-old handicap over a mile at the Curragh where she ran against Music to Myers. She was absolutely well supported that day. I think she was backed in from something like 10-1 into 5-1 before the off. And she was quite unlucky in running. The gap closed. I think there was an inquiry on the day. That's why it was interesting. She put up £3 for that, and she's still on a mark of 84. But I thought I was actually surprised to see her run last week, because I thought she was going to dial up next time definitely in a handicap. It's interesting that they had a stab, obviously, to see if they could get a bit of black type. But she definitely is interesting. I think she can improve off a mark of 84. Lads,
more interesting than that might be the Dermot Weld horse as well. Just he ties in with that form of the horse that Ronan picked early, Tommy Taylor. He was 5th when Tommy Taylor was 3rd. Is Titanium Sky. Look, he was 2nd off 96 a few runs back. I think maybe Dermot Weld's horses were a little bit slow to start when COVID kind of stopped. So, but he had a nice winner last night. Harpanda won well, and he might be one to side with now from here to Galway. Dermot Weld, I think his horses are just starting to peak, so she could be worth a close eye on as well.
Brilliant. Well, as we said, Curragh is centre stage this weekend, but we also have action at York and Newbury on Saturday. Also, Haydock is on as well. Is there anything else, Ronan? I'll come to you around the grounds that you saw entered up, or I suppose even priced up better again, that you want to mention.
No, not really, Barry. Yes, I'm just Irish tinted glasses. I'm just all at the Curragh this weekend, I guess. It's brilliant racing at the Curragh on Saturday. The last race there, the ladies derby, I think Tonkinese will go well for Joseph O'Brien again, and the Syndicate.racing crowd. I think he has a lot of nice back form, and he's obviously going for back-to-back derbies, the Apprentice Derby and now the ladies derby at the Curragh. But other than that, no, just kind of waiting for prize. It's a bit disappointing that you're talking about racing on Thursday with declarations and no bookmakers have really priced up the other group races at the Curragh. You'd like to think that when we have 48-hour declarations, people, are wanting to have a bet. Like even you have the Curragh Cup there with like some Master Reality, Twilight Payment, and Memorabilis. So I think is a good chance, 3-year-old there in the Curragh Cup. We've no prices yet, so it's difficult to really get an angle into these races. But looking forward to a big weekend at the Curragh.
Yeah, and even last night as well. Like it was only obviously this morning. Yeah, I thought there might have been prices up a little bit earlier. Fair enough. Thomas Coyle, anything else around the grounds at the Curragh, York, Newbury?
Not really for them. I haven't had time, but I've had a quick look at Kilbeggan and Tipperary, obviously with the runners. We're going back national hunt from all our Group 1s to a few 0-95s. But there's one horse, it runs in the 3 mile 1 hurdle tomorrow night of, Chase of Matthew Smith's Emer. It was second to Lord Lariat the last day, who had won back-to-back over hurdles, and I think they were 20 lengths clear. I think if she has a clear round in it's her debut over fences, I think if she is a clear round, she's going to be very hard to beat in it. She is. I've studied it because I've won in it, so that's what I think in it.
Just one I'll put up, lads, at 7-1 on Sunday. So Super Sprint Stakes is Lullaby Moon. Thought it's an interesting runner. I put up a good time figure last time as well, and just want to keep an eye on 7-1 now. I think it is best price. There has been a bit of support for, so yeah, Lullaby Moon on Sunday, Super Sprint Stakes. Brilliant, lads. So I suppose that concludes the preview. All that's left is the Nap and MB of the weekend. Ronan Groome, take it away.
Yeah, gonna nap Cayenne Pepper. I think she's pretty solid in the Curragh. I like Tommy Taylor at a big price, but one race we didn't talk about there, Barry. Just give a quick mention to now is the Minstrel Stakes. There's a Group 2 on Saturday as well. I think Lancaster House is absolutely rock solid there. He's taken on Romanized, who obviously is £8 better horse on official ratings, but Romanized tends to need his first run. And I really like the way Lancaster House did it from the front the last day at the Curragh. I think he'll take a lot of beating. He's drawn 1. He's going to go off in front. Nothing else to like to lead. Buffer Zone is in there for Durlines, but he's a suspect stare, so he won't be up there. Gustavus Weston will probably sitting behind him. Romanized is always held up, and the other two, the mares in the race and the 2 Brian fillies, they are usually held up as well. So I think it'll all set up for Lancaster House to run really big in the Minstrel Stakes. So he'd be my next best.
Brilliant. I'll step in. Nap comes on Sunday, lads, at the prices. I think get on it now. AA Ali 11-10. 3-year-old, given the 3-year-old allowance, I think it's not usually lads I put up on this short, but I think it'll be very, very hard to beat this AA Ali. And the NB at a price, Ronan, I'm going to go in on Tommy Taylor. I think ticks a lot of the boxes for these big handicaps. As I said, he came down from a rating of 107, having only a 6 run for Johnny Levens. And I think there's definitely improvement off his current mark. 14-1 looks a bit big, so I'll have an each way poke on him, 1 point each way at 14-1. What about you, Thomas Coyle?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with Ronan. We'll give Cayenne Pepper the touch of death, I'd say, by the 2 of us napping her up. But look, no.
Well, Tom, the podcast is in good form now. So Ronan has been leading the way, himself and Mike Vincent Blair White. So
I might get a winner. So no, look, she's rock solid for me. She's coming in as the fresher one, and the way she ran through the line the last time, look, a 1.5 miles should be definitely winning her grass, and I think she'll take the beating. And my MB is going to be in the same race as Tommy Taylor. I think Blair Main. Most bookies are going to give 5 places, and that I can't see him being out of the first 5. He runs his best races up the Curragh. Lightweight, I can see him definitely being in the first 5.
Fantastic, lads. Well, that concludes, I suppose, the Irish Oaks preview. And just a quick mention for Ronan Groome, it's his birthday this weekend. So happy birthday to Ronan Groome. And lads, we shall